GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Our top story tonight. City Council votes on a new housing plan that could reshape downtown and affect thousands of residents, sparking heated debate across the city.
Quebec Security Minister Ian Lafreniere announced today that he has named Anne-Marie Boisvert as an independent observer to oversee the investigation into alleged racial profiling by officers at the Montreal Nord police station. The appointment follows complaints that a group of officers engaged in discriminatory practices. Boisvert, a former civil rights analyst, will monitor the probe, ensure procedural transparency, and report directly to the minister. The ministry said the move aims to restore confidence in the police service and demonstrate a commitment to addressing systemic bias. Lafreniere stressed the observer will have full access to reports and can recommend corrective measures. The Montreal Nord station in the North Borough has been under scrutiny since the complaints emerged last month. Police confirmed the investigation remains active and evidence is being reviewed. The oversight arrangement is expected to continue until the inquiry reaches its final conclusions.
Today, the council of a small town west of the city officially declared trees to be living beings entitled to legal protections. The motion, passed after a heated debate, grants trees rights previously reserved for people and animals, marking what an environmental organization calls the first recognition of tree rights anywhere in the province and the nation. Officials said the measure aims to safeguard urban canopies, curb illegal removals, and ensure future development respects the new status. Critics warned the decision could complicate planning approvals and raise legal questions, but supporters argued it sets a precedent for more sustainable stewardship. The council's vote will now be recorded in municipal bylaws, opening the door for courts to interpret and enforce the newly created rights. Observers will watch closely as the policy moves from local ordinance to potential national influence.
Torrential rains this morning have inundated hundreds of residences across the greater Montreal area, forcing many families to evacuate and leaving roads slick with water. Emergency crews are working through the worst-hit neighborhoods, deploying pumps and sandbags while utility teams assess damage to electricity and gas lines. The deluge adds to a broader trend. Quebec insurers report that average flood claim costs have risen by 127.7% between 2014 and 2024, the sharpest increase in the province's recent history. Officials from Municipal Emergency Management say the intensity of today's storm exceeds typical summer patterns, and they are urging residents in low-lying zones to stay alert for further runoff. Damage estimates will be compiled over the coming days as insurers begin processing the surge in claims.
Today's regular season clash at Stade Boreal saw the Montreal Roses host the Alberta Wild in a tightly contested match that ended in a 1-1 draw. Both sides opened scoring early, with the Roses finding the net first before the Wild equalized before halftime. The second half featured several chances on both ends, but neither team could break the deadlock. Goalkeepers on both sides made a handful of key saves, keeping the score level through the final whistle. The result leaves the Roses maintaining their position in the standings, while the Wild pick up a point on the road. Fans in the stadium enjoyed a lively atmosphere, cheering loudly for each play as the teams battled for every inch of the field. The contest, part of the league's regular season schedule, drew roughly 3,000 spectators who stayed engaged until the final buzzer.
Thunderstorms this morning inundated streets in Dollard des Ormeaux, sending water into basements and roadways across the West Island. The downpours arrived on ground already soaked by heavy rain yesterday, overwhelming drainage and prompting the municipal fire service to stay on scene assisting residents trapped by rising water. Local homeowners reported several inches of water pooling in front yards and entering homes, and many are publicly demanding that the city of Dollard des Ormeaux assume responsibility for the damage. Officials acknowledged the severity, noting that the neighborhood has endured repeated flooding events in recent years, and pledged to review infrastructure capacity. Firefighters continued to circulate through affected blocks through the afternoon, helping to extract belongings and coordinate temporary shelters while crews evaluate the extent of structural impact. City engineers are expected to report on needed upgrades within the next few weeks.
Later, we'll break down Environment Canada's warning of more rain and repeat storms across the Montreal area. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back, everyone. We've got the latest headlines, and now Rachel Reed will take us through today's top local stories.
Environment Canada has issued a warning that the atmospheric setup that produced Saturday evening's flash flooding could trigger another bout of heavy rain and storms across southern Quebec, including the Montreal area. Officials note that the same moisture-laden air mass and lingering low-pressure system make a repeat event plausible within the next several days. Emergency services remain on alert as communities continue to clear debris, repair damaged roads, and assess lingering water levels from Saturday's deluge. Residents are being reminded that additional rainfall may exacerbate already saturated soils and riverbanks, potentially leading to localized flooding in low-lying neighborhoods. The agency's advisory emphasizes that the situation is fluid and that further updates will follow as conditions evolve. Authorities urge anyone in affected zones to stay informed through official channels and local authorities.
Montreal police confirmed 2 separate assaults occurred in the early hours of June 21, following Saturday night. The incidents, spaced a few hours apart, involved 2 individuals who sustained injuries described as non-life-threatening. Both victims received treatment at local hospitals and were released. Police responded to each scene, secured the locations, and began investigations. No arrests have been announced. Authorities are reviewing surveillance footage and interviewing witnesses to identify the perpetrators. Police confirmed the assaults are being investigated as separate cases, documenting the scenes and collecting forensic evidence. The victims, whose identities have not been disclosed, were taken by ambulance to the same medical facility for evaluation and follow-up care. No weapons were reported. The investigations remain ongoing, and police have not ruled out any connection between the 2 events. Police will release further details as the investigation progresses.
On June 21st, French teacher Charles Desrochers turned a typical language class into a celebration of Quebec culture. In his Montreal school, he illustrated the rhythms of French by referencing local music, cuisine, and folklore, inviting students to compare the words they learn with the flavors of poutine, the beats of traditional folk songs, and the stories behind regional festivals. By linking grammar exercises to everyday cultural touchstones, he showed that the language can be as lively as a summer market on St. Laurent. Desrochers explained that schools serve as a venue for passing Quebec's heritage to the next generation, a point he reinforced with a classroom project that asks pupils to create short videos featuring their favorite local customs. The approach aims to keep the province's linguistic and cultural identity vibrant in everyday conversation.
Authorities responded to a vehicle blaze on Jean Talon Street Saturday night, June 20th. Fire crews arrived within minutes after callers reported flames engulfing a car on the busy east-west corridor. Multiple fire engines and a ladder unit were dispatched, and firefighters worked through the night to fully extinguish the flames. The fire quickly consumed the vehicle, prompting officers to close the lane and redirect traffic. No injuries were reported, and the driver escaped unharmed. Police are investigating the cause, which remains unknown at this time. The incident caused temporary congestion on one of the city's main thoroughfares, affecting commuters heading east or west. Residents were advised to avoid the immediate area while the blaze was extinguished and the scene secured. The street will reopen once investigators complete their assessment later.
Quebec's chief coroner has ordered a public inquiry into fatalities linked to freight trucks, a move announced in October 2025. The investigation comes as the province reviews its road safety framework and contemplates stricter regulations aimed at curbing truck-related deaths. Recent collisions involving large cargo vehicles have raised concern among motorists and safety officials, prompting the coroner's office to seek a comprehensive assessment of contributing factors. The inquiry will examine accident data, driver training standards, vehicle maintenance practices, and existing traffic control policies. Findings are expected to inform legislative proposals currently under consideration. By addressing the root causes of these lethal crashes, authorities hope to improve conditions for everyday drivers sharing the province's highways. The public inquiry will be conducted openly, with hearings scheduled across the province to hear testimony from victims' families, industry representatives, and safety specialists.
Now let's turn to our weather team for a look at tonight's conditions across the metro.
Tonight's weather wraps up the day with gentle clouds, mild temperatures, and a calm night ahead. On this day in 2020, Montreal baked to a scorching 33.7 degrees Celsius, the all-time record high. It arrived during an early summer heat wave that sent the city's thermometers soaring and gave residents a taste of what a true heat dome feels like. Back in 2014, a sudden Arctic dip pushed temperatures down to 10.4 degrees Celsius, a record low that surprised everyone during an otherwise mild June. For comparison, the climate normal for today hovers around 27 degrees high and 15 degrees low, so both extremes stand out dramatically. Right now the city sits at 19 degrees Celsius under a partly cloudy sky, humidity about 65%, and a gentle breeze of 8 kilometers per hour from the west. The night will stay dry, with temperatures drifting down to 15 degrees by the early morning hours. Light clouds will linger, keeping the sky soft and the air comfortable. No rain is expected tonight, and the wind will remain calm, well below 25 kilometers per hour. Residents should stay aware of the severe thunderstorm watches that cover much of the island and surrounding regions, even though storms are unlikely to affect us this evening. That wraps up tonight's outlook as we turn to the upcoming 5-day stretch. Looking ahead, Monday will bring a high of 23 degrees and a low of 15 as overcast skies dominate and give the city about a 50% chance of rain. Tuesday brightens with a high of 24 and a low of 16, mostly clear and perfect for an evening walk. Wednesday stays warm at 24 degrees high, low 16, but clouds return, offering a modest 20% chance of showers. Thursday sees the same high of 24 and a slightly higher low of 17, yet the clouds thicken and the rain probability jumps to 70%, so keep an umbrella handy. Finally, Friday cools a touch to 22 degrees with a low of 17, and light rain will linger, bringing a 65% chance of precipitation. Overall, the week mixes warmth with periodic rain, keeping city comfortable and streets fresh.
Coming up, traffic updates, a look at today's arts lineup, plus a quick recap of our season's hockey action. We will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
And now here's Jason with sports.
A quieter sports board today, with no fresh local team update from RSS. The Canadiens made NHL award history when captain Nick Suzuki claimed the Frank J. Selk Trophy and teammate Cole Caulfield was awarded the Lady Byng Trophy, both on the same day. According to CBC Sports NHL, the NHL confirmed both honors simultaneously, a rare double for any franchise. More good news out of the Canadiens organization, prospect Bryce Pickford has been named CHL Defenseman of the Year. Sportsnet reports the honor signals promising depth in Montreal's defensive pipeline, a name Habs fans will want to remember. On the women's side, the PWHL has released the selection order for its 2026 draft, set to take place in 2 days. Sportsnet reports the announcement gives teams and fans a clearer picture of how draft day will unfold.
On a crisp autumn morning on St. Laurent Boulevard, the team from Quebec's Cadrim and Spectratec gathered in a modest conference room above a bustling bakery. The scent of fresh croissants mingled with the low hum of laptops as engineers ran the final diagnostics on the twin cameras destined for NASA's Roman Space Telescope. One camera, a sleek silver box the size of a shoebox, held a mosaic of crystal lenses that caught the light like frozen droplets. Across the table, a young technician lifted the sealed container, his grin reflecting the pride of a community that has watched the project grow from sketches on a university chalkboard to a payload that will stare into the dark energy of the universe. When the payload manager lifted the cameras onto the integration platform, the room fell quiet, then erupted in applause as the cameras were sealed for launch. In that moment, Montreal's quiet ingenuity was about to travel 600 million kilometers to help answer the biggest questions about our cosmos. It's a reminder that the most extraordinary journeys often begin in a workshop, where curiosity and collaboration turn dreams into reality.
On a crisp spring morning in Pointe-aux-Trembles, the neighborhood's main boulevard bustles with families, cyclists, and the familiar hum of the Saturday market that turned 15 last weekend. The celebration began with a modest ribbon cutting beside the historic St. Louis Church, where longtime resident Marie-Claude Tremblay, who helped organize the original citizen petition, handed a handmade banner to the market's newest vendor, a young baker from the nearby plateau. The stalls, painted in bright ochre and teal, spill over with heirloom tomatoes still warm from the field, jars of wild berry jam that glisten like amber, and hand-woven scarves that catch the light. A child no more than 5 reaches up to taste a slice of caramel-spiced apple tart, his grin mirrored by the vendor's delighted laugh. That simple exchange, a moment of shared generosity, reminds why the market endures. It turns ordinary Saturday errands into a community ritual. As the sun dips behind the river, the market's rhythm slows, but the sense of belonging remains, a quiet testament to what neighbors can build together.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us tonight. It was striking to see a Quebec town grant legal rights to trees, a reminder of the city's evolving relationship with nature. I'm Peter Miller. Stay safe, stay curious, and tune in tomorrow for more stories that matter to you.